All right, guys, tonight's topics, Lunkerchasers. What to do when you get to your starting spot and your rods are locked in your rod box, and how to recover from falling in the water out of your boat while live on camera.
Okay guys, episode 2, Let's Talk Fish. We got a great show tonight. We got a special guest, Sandon Wilson from Lunkerchasers in the house.
What's up, guys?
Welcome, Sandon.
Glad to have you here, Sandon.
Glad to be here. I'm glad that Matt gave me the phone call the other week and said, "Hey, let's come do the show with us." And I was like, "Yes, I totally want to do this."
Right on. How'd you? I seen you walking around at the Forestwood Cup.
Oh yeah, that was a fun experience.
You
I got
had
a
a good
media
time?
pass.
Oh yeah.
I got to go backstage. Got to hang out with all the other.
They let you in where everybody else wanted to be.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Exactly.
And I think that's the benefit of having the Lunkerchasers page with so many thousands of followers.
Thousands. It's
How many do you have?
162,000.
162,000.
That's a dynasty. From a fishing Instagram standpoint,
That is a dynasty.
You could put mine with Brian's, Jeff's, and Let's Talk Fish, and we wouldn't touch that.
And combine Facebook pages. But where'd the idea come from? When'd you launch it? How do you get 168,000 followers?
Yeah, I don't know your secret.
It's not. It's not easy.
No. Okay, so how it basically streamed off of was back when Instagram was basically just maybe 1 or 2 years old, 2014. That's when I got an iPhone and started joining the.
That's about time we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
ICAST that year.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was still on a flip phone.
2014.
Brian
I'm pretty sure I was
he
still
said
on a
he was
flip
still on
phone
a
in
flip phone.
2014.
You were still on a flip phone until like 12 months ago. 13
I wish
months
they
ago.
still
Possibly.
had flip phones. You know what I wish they had? I wish everything comes back around. You know, like everything's cool in the 70s. Coming
Yeah,
back.
you think
I
egg
wish
tracks
they'd
are coming
bring
back?
out.
You think if we came out with a new flip phone?
Flip
You
phone?
A flip phone, you think we'd sell them?
I want to come out with a StarTAC with today's technology.
We're not as old as you. You're going to have to explain.
Yeah, what is a StarTAC?
Really?
Is that like
Y'all
something?
need to Google it.
Is that the old bag phone in the cars?
No, it's
Oh.
just a little. It's awesome. Google it.
Okay, back to Sandon.
Back to Sandon, yeah, chasing rabbits. Go ahead.
All right, so basically where it streamed off of was me and a bunch of my buddies, we were going fishing on the weekends and just posting photos on the Instagram trying to learn like what it was about. Well, then we started seeing all these fishing related pages liking our photos when we use hashtags and stuff. And so to try to get our pictures posted like they were posting everybody else's, we'd start tagging them. And after not getting posted so many times, me and one of my buddies were sitting at lunch one day, and I was like, "Dude, I'm just gonna make a page." And I said, "I'm just gonna come up with a name. I'm gonna make a page." And he said, "Do it." He said, "I'll be your first follower." And I said, "Okay." So we set out, and I started thinking big fish. Everybody likes to see big fish, and
Absolutely.
I was thinking lunker. Lunker's big fish. Lunker catchers. No, Lunkerchasers. And I just said it a couple times in my head. I was like,
The light bulb went off.
that was it. I was like, that is what we're going with. So I made the page, started getting everything set up, and started posting my pictures, my friends' pictures, and my buddies, all their followers. This is how basically I grew. So
This is what I want to hear.
Yeah.
So my buddies would post me in their tags. And their buddies would say, "Oh, well, he's tagging them. What are they about?" And they say, "Oh, well, they're posting everybody else's." So then they would start tagging me, and then their followers would
Just
start tagging me,
snowball.
and it was a snowball effect. And once I got up to about 1,000 followers in about a month, I was like, "This is freaking awesome!" I was like, a month ago I didn't have nothing,
Yeah.
and now all of a sudden I've got a little over 1,000 followers. I was like, now I'm starting to do
You're hitting
giveaways.
big time with over 1,000 followers.
Man, I walk into Academy, I was the big dog. Like, I got 1,000 followers on Instagram. What y'all got? But I literally, after work, I'd go to Academy. I'd pick up like some just random baits, just stuff that I like, stuff that I knew me and my buddies like. Cause I fished Lake Hartwell, so a lot of herring, a lot of fluke style baits, that kind of stuff. I just put a bunch of stuff in a giveaway and just held a giveaway. Gained like another 500 followers when I done that. I'm like, okay, I think I've got it figured out now. So
get free stuff. Get your buddies to tag you.
That's it. And
sounds easy enough, Brian.
That does sound it.
50,000 followers.
Have you gave anything away?
Every once in a while. We're giving away something tonight.
Oh, we are. Stay tuned.
I contributed to that giveaway too.
You did?
I can't wait. It's gonna be cool. But basically,
We're not supposed to be talking about that yet. Good job, Matt.
Correct.
There we go, chasing rabbits again.
That's what this show's about, though.
That's right. It's unscripted, totally raw. Never know what you say.
You never know what direction.
That's right. You said Lunkerchasers has been great for you because the opportunity it's given you to travel around to some of the biggest tournaments.
I absolutely love it.
You've interacted with some kids in some different ways.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
This past January, I got to go. I got to be invited as a vendor by Neil Paul from Visit Anderson.
Yep, I know
He
Neil.
invited me down to the high school bass class. They had Gerald Swindle, Chris Lane, Paul Geddes is the local Opens and Costa Pro. Who else did they have?
And how many
Brian
kids?
Latimer.
How many kids did that bring in?
We packed out the little the Anderson Coliseum. We packed it out.
So a couple hundred kids?
Maybe 300 to 400.
Wow. See, that's awesome, and that's what it's all about because those high school kids, they got an opportunity to see some of the biggest names in our sport and go down there, and I'm assuming those guys
Got
did
to take
seminars.
Gerald brought down his AOY trophy because that was like 2 months after he won, so he brought down, everybody's getting pictures with him with that.
Awesome.
Oh, that is
Got to
awesome.
see Miss Lulu. Love seeing Miss Lulu.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's in some of the tournaments, like you said, you got to go to the Classic, you got to go to the Forest Wood Cups, and people. I mean, when you walk in the room, people recognize you. They know you right off the bat from Instagram, and they see your shirt and your hat.
You probably get offered a lot of fishing trips, too, don't you?
You'd actually be surprised.
Really? I'm offering you one. We got to go
I get
fishing.
offered the trips, but I can't take it because I work too much. I work in a hospital, so
yeah.
I work too much, so I can't go just fishing whenever
Just
I want
whenever.
to. I gotta put in like a notice and all this other kind of stuff. But one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me, I had just got off work, and me and my mom and my two sisters went to eat at the local O'Charlie's down in Greenville, and I literally walked in, sat down at the little waiting area, and got up, and I saw these 2 kids or 3 kids looking at me, and they kept going. Like, and just pointing and stuff. I flipped back at my mom and said, "Mom," I said, I'm pretty sure they know who I am. And she said, "Hey, why you say that?" And about that time, here they come. Hey, can we get a picture with you? And I'm like, I got my scrubs on, but okay, yeah, we'll do that. So I got a picture.
You need to always carry that T-shirt in your back pocket. Just
No.
roll one up. Keep it in
Yeah,
your back
hang on,
pocket.
let me, like a
Yeah.
superhero.
Or
Throw it
just-
on real quick.
Yeah, wear it under your scrubs. You can just rip your scrubs off.
Oh, that would be good.
Superman.
Have you seen the cost of scrubs today? They are expensive.
I have not.
Buddy of mine's got a scrub shop. I might have to look into that a little bit.
You
We
can
can
start
do that.
fishing in. You need to start fishing in scrubs.
Eric Jackson does it. No, that's not a scrub.
That's not
It's
a
like
scrub.
dick-
That's a coverall.
That's a one piece.
Yeah,
I could do that.
It's like a snuggie.
that's his signature trademark look, though, and it's pretty
He
awesome.
can pull it off.
He does a great job.
working for him.
It works very good for him.
Yeah. That's let's see. All right, Thrift's a hammer, often underrated. What's up, Sandon? That's from Justin Morgan. Next topic, we said, what do you do when you get to your starting spot and your rods are locked in your rod box? Well, so this happened to me.
Freak out.
This happened to Matt.
I did freak out. This was Beaver Lake, 2000. Well, Brian won it, so he ought to know when it was. It 11?
11.
2011.
Yeah,
It was
11.
like, I don't know, 20 degrees.
That was the coldest tournament we ever had at Beaver, I think.
Yeah, when we blasted off, I know the water was in the low 40s.
Yeah, it
most
was
of
like
the week.
41, 42.
Yeah, it was cold. And day 3, or day 4, excuse me, after the cut, final day, top 10 day, we blast off. My wife's there, all my family's there, and when we blast off, I get in my starting spot, about a 15-minute run. Beaver's not real big. And I go to get my rods out, and my rod box is locked. Well, my wife took my truck after she dumped me in because they needed the vehicle for the day because they flew in. And guess where my key to my rod box was?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was on my truck keys. So Two options: burn up a bunch of time, call my wife, get her to meet me back down at the ramp, and the early morning bite was pretty critical. That low light,
the early.
I definitely.
He's chasing.
Sorry, everybody freezes when a bass starts chasing.
Oh, look at them. They're hiding.
Our pet, Mr. Wilson over here, is starting to chase. We'll talk more about Mr. Wilson on next episode. But that's our pet largemouth over here if nobody's seen him yet. And I get my first spot, and like I said, two options. Call Emily, waste a bunch of time. Probably 45 minutes to an hour to get back, get the keys, unlock it.
At least.
So I said, you know what? I got a flathead screwdriver in the back, and it can't be that hard to rip one of these things open. So I stick that flathead screwdriver in there, and I pry it up like a crowbar, and I get it where all my fingers are underneath it, and I put all my weight into it and rip that lid completely off. Fiberglass flying everywhere. Needless to say, I got my rods out, and I got the fish. So
did you
catch
a fish?
Yeah, I did. I actually caught a limit. I didn't win. Brian won. I ended up fifth,
Yay.
I think. So, it was a good finish. Had I not got those, I actually caught a few early that morning, too, so it was a big deal.
I may have won that one, but you won like every one after that.
No, just two. Just two.
Back to back, though.
When you did that affect the resale value of your boat?
Did I tell the guy who bought it that year? No, I'm just kidding. I did. Actually fixed it. When it went back to Ranger, they actually repaired the lock. The way the locking mechanism works, basically what it did, it ripped a slither about, an inch wide, all the way up through the box. And yes, I'll always let people know if there's any damage. Thank you for asking. But yes, I did get it fixed. So, Brian, next topic is how do you recover when you know you're on camera? Top 10 FLW Tour event.
Ooh, yeah.
You fall off the boat while on camera.
I did this. We were at, where were we? Fort Loudon Tellico. It was like 2000.
You want me to tell you where you were and what happened? Because I watched it like 1,000 times.
I know it was at Fort Loudon Tellico. The years are kind of faded. It was 08, 09. No, 2010. Yeah, that's when it was, 2010. So anyway, we're at Fort Loudon Tellico. Big smallmouth are on the bed. We're there late March, early April. And early in the morning, like right at daylight, it was kind of a muggy night. A lot of dew fell on the boats right at daylight. So I pull in this pocket early, and I know there's a fish on the bed in here. So I'm short. I'm like 5'7". So I need all the advantage I can get. I stand up on the fiberglass, like the gunnel of the boat, like not the carpet, but I've got like a little 3-4 inch wide strip of fiberglass, and I'm balancing on it on my tippy toes.
This already was not a good idea.
Yeah, this started out bad from the get go.
So
while casting, so I'm doing this while casting, and I do this a lot. I'll put like my right leg on the foot pedal of the trolling motor, and I will put my left leg on the gunnel of the boat. So I'm like even with my feet are even, but you teeter totter. You got to have a pretty good sense of balance. But when there's
it all goes away.
Exactly, or when you have a heavy dew on the gunnel of the boat, and your shoe just slides out from under you. And it was one of those deals where it wasn't a graceful fall, but it wasn't an awkward fall, because as soon as I started going, I knew it was going to happen. There was no stopping it, so I kind of just jumped in. And I want you to know, I had this Stormwater rain suit on, and I'm in the water. I swim to the back of the Ranger boat, pull the ladder down.
Thank goodness for those ladders, right?
Thank goodness for the ladders. Now, it's fairly cool. I mean, I've still got the big striker coat on, the heavy one. I climb myself up in the boat, and I'm like making sure I don't have my phone in my pocket or nothing like that. Like, what did I ruin? And my cameraman's over here like patting me down. I'm like, what is this fool doing? I'm thinking, he's thinking I'm gonna get hypothermia or something. Nah, he's trying to save the mic. I got the mic under this thing.
He care less.
He don't care like me. He's trying to strip me down and get the mic off of me, thinking the mic's gonna get ruined. But I'm telling you, I was in the water for probably, it felt like 2 or 3 minutes, but it probably wasn't about 30 seconds, So, and I climb up, and like the only thing wet on me is like from my chest up and from my knees down. Like the water never came inside the rain suit. It was pretty neat. So Mike saved, I'm saved, and then I get back in the boat and the fish isn't even there anyway. I probably fell on him and run him off. But that's my story of falling in on camera. I did go on to finish third in that event, I believe. Yes, indeed.
As usual, Brian, another top 10. Even when he falls in. But,
Hey, I tell you another good story about that one. So that was the 4th day of the event, and I've been catching these bed and smallmouth. They're all gone, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw a frog. I pick up a frog and start throwing. It comes this vicious downpour, and I've never caught topwater fish in a pouring down rain before. And I'm throwing this frog, and I catch, like, I've caught 15 or 20 on it, and I'm throwing it. This just torrential downpour comes. I'm sitting here walking my frog. You can't even see the frog. Can't see fish blow up on it. I'm just twitching it along until one pulls it. Like, I can't see them bite it or nothing. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
only you could probably do that.
It was amazing. So.
All right. With that being said, guys, don't forget we're doing a big giveaway tonight. If we every question we answer tonight, whether it's live or pre-show questions that guys have submitted, guys and gals have submitted, it goes into this box right here. You see this box, and we're going to draw a name at the end of the show for that giveaway. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Get hands-on with Quaker State. The more miles you tack onto your odometer and the older your engine gets, the more likely your engine seals will start to break down, which can cause your engine to leak. That's why we made Quaker State High Mileage for vehicles with over 75,000 miles. It's formulated with special seal swell conditioners to help reduce leaks, because any other solution to handling those leaks can get a little messy. That's better. Quaker State, just damn good oil.
Okay, guys, we're back. That's a quick word from Quaker State. What you got going on?
Sanders over here playing with something.
I'm a little scared. Yeah.
We don't know what's going on.
I brought something for you guys, and I thought y'all, being country boys, y'all might enjoy this just a little too much, but I'm going to bring it out anyway.
I'm scared. I don't know about that.
All right, so there's a new place down in Greenville, South Carolina on North Pleasantburg Drive called LTO Burger Bar.
Man, those look like pork cracklings.
How long they been riding around in your car?
Is that sweet potato fries?
Sweet potato fries.
Sweet potato fries. Now that is a southern dish.
Now, here.
How long's this been riding around in your car?
That's to be determined.
Ooh.
They're lukewarm. I think we're safe.
What you got over there? What
Is this our dipping
That
sauce?
looks
That's
like
the dipping
cranberry
sauce.
sauce.
That's actually blueberry ketchup.
Wait a minute.
Now that sounds pretty good.
Wait a minute. Blueberry ketchup.
Blueberry ketchup.
Blueberry
So it's got blueberries and tomatoes in it.
The blueberries are a substitute for the tomatoes.
Oh, I'll get
So
that up.
so it's
Don't mind
actually
if I do.
Basically, but it's
that's blueberry.
No, it looks.
That's blueberry
got a little
jelly.
smoky flavor to it.
That looks like ketchup, and it actually.
I got.
It actually smells like.
I like
ketchup.
blueberries.
All right, Jeff, you gonna be the first taste tester?
I'm in.
I'm going with this.
Look how Brian tests it. He just got to dab a little bit on his pinky.
It tastes like
All right,
blueberry
while
ketchup.
these guys are eating, I'm gonna get back to business.
That's all
Are
right.
they good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right.
good.
The blueberry
So,
jelly is good.
Let's take some of our questions that were submitted pre-show. I've got a giant stack of them here. We can only do 4 or 5, whatever we got time for tonight. We're also going to take some questions live. So guys, stay on, and we're going to do a giveaway. Every question we answer right here is going into this box, and we're going to choose from those to pick a winner at the end of the show. All right, first
Get
question.
any sweet potato fries. Hang on. All right, go ahead.
I'm gonna wait till Brian's mouth's full to ask him. You can't half understand him anyway, so what's the difference?
What?
All right, first question is from Lucas. I exclusively fish with fluorocarbon line. I am thinking of rigging a rod with braid for topwater. Will this help my lure's action, say walking the dog, etc.? Thanks. Okay, Lucas, I'll touch on it first, then I'll roll it over to Brian. If you're fishing exclusively with fluorocarbon line, I'm assuming you're throwing all your topwaters on fluorocarbon line. I don't recommend that personally. I never throw any topwaters on fluorocarbon line. A couple reasons. Castability, number 1. Number 2, it sinks. So it pulls your bait down, and yes, it will kill the action. If you move over to some braid, Brian and I throw a lot of the P-line, the TC XB braid, and that braid, you'll get a lot more casting distance, and absolutely it will improve your action over fluorocarbon. Something else, we'll probably do this. We'll probably drop a video on this sometime. I tie a loop knot when you're using those walking the dog type lures. I'll actually take the split ring off. I don't know what Brian does. I'll take the split ring off and tie a loop knot directly to the eye of the bait. It allows it to swing more freely, and you'll get a lot more action that way too. So yeah, absolutely. Use the braid. Poundage will depend on what bait you use. I'll let Brian go.
I think the poundage, like again, Matt said, we use the P-Line TCBX braid, and it's a Teflon coated braid, so it's real smooth. You can get a lot of distance out of it, especially when you're throwing the big walking baits. I mean, prime example was a couple weeks ago at Forestwood Cup, everybody throwing the big pencil poppers and stuff. That braid's awesome for that. They are good. I ate some just a minute ago. But yeah, I generally don't tie a loop knot on the big pencil popper type baits because I think it is a little bit of a weaker knot, especially with braid. I like to tie directly to a split ring on the bait. Now, if I'm using a mono like the P-Line PF Original, then I usually tie a loop knot. And poundage wise varies. On braid, I don't want to throw anything smaller than 40 pound. And the main reason for that is when you're throwing these big walking baits, you're putting a lot of force on that bait. When you rear back, you're throwing this thing 70, 80 yards. You're generating a lot of force, and it's a pretty quick amount of force. I don't know what the correct terminology for that is, but you'll snap off lighter braid. So 40 is a minimum. I generally go around the 50-pound line on the braid, and with the mono, I'm 17 to 20, something like that.
I think the word you're looking for is inertia.
Inertia. There we go.
That's why we brought sand
exactly.
in.
Inertia.
So
my science teacher's going to be so proud of me.
I know what it means. I just didn't know how to say it.
7 years out of high school.
And Brian said, with that braid, I don't know if Brian does it. I do it a lot of times. I'll spray some kind of line conditioner on it just to keep it a little bit more consistent, a little smoother, a little bit better castability. Last thing you want to do is go out there and bomb a topwater as far as you can and have it knot up in your spool or something like that. So
yeah, especially when you're chasing schooling fish, because you see them. It seems like every time you make that super long cast, like as soon as the bait hits the water, they come up schooling, or as soon as you backlash, they come up schooling, and you're trying to pick it out real quick, and then you get madder and madder, and then you make the backlash worse and worse, and then you get madder and madder, and then before long you're breaking rod over the side of the boat.
When they always come up schooling on me?
Whenever you're down in the bottom of the boat?
No, when I got to take a leak. Guaranteed, if you're around schooling fish, just take a leak. They'll
just
come up.
Pee in the lake. They'll come up. I'm about to try that. I didn't know that.
Story about the whole snapping a bait off. We were on Lake Murray about 2 years ago, striper fishing, throwing. It was September, so that's right when they're peak schooling activity. So we're chasing these schools around. My buddy gets up on the top of the boat and he fires one off. Pow! Breaks the line. Where the bait lands is where they start schooling at. He goes on. He's like, oh, they took his bait down. They ate his bait
off the top of the water.
Off the top of the water. So he does this right here. So he runs down. He ties on another bait real quick. And he starts throwing because they're still up. He catches the fish that had the bait in his mouth.
No.
Yes. There's a picture of it on
That's
Facebook.
skills right there.
Yeah,
you can't compete with that.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
That is skills.
All right, Lucas, we are going to fold your question up, and we're going to drop it in the box. Lucas,
now, why are we dropping it in the box?
If you're not watching, you can't claim your prize. So remember what we said, guys.
Why aren't we dropping it in the box? We haven't explained that.
Yeah, I did. I talked earlier about that. You weren't listening. As usual.
Probably not.
So we will draw from this box. The people whose questions we answer live will jot their name down on a piece of paper, and we'll also submit those in the box, and then we'll draw it in the show for our giveaway. Okay.
What is our giveaway? Are we going to say what it is, or is it a surprise?
I don't know if anybody can see it, but we got a box of stuff over there in the corner. And
surprise
it's a lot
stuff.
Of stuff. So make sure you
baits,
stay on.
signed memorabilia.
It's a big word for you. Memorabilia.
I missed inertia. I had to get one of them.
I think there's some inertia. There may be some inertia in there.
Yeah, there may be some inertia in there.
He got a second chance.
Redeem myself.
All right. Okay, here's an interesting question. This is a very interesting question. This one's from Katie. Katie wants to know. She said, "My boyfriend goes fishing a lot. Do you have any tips on how to put up with his fishing addiction?"
Oh.
Who wants to go first?
I don't know. I just might just keep my mouth shut on this one. Sometimes you're better off not saying anything at all. Brian, you want to answer that?
I don't know. I don't know if you can answer. There's a lot worse things he could be doing. I know a long time ago, a guy I used to fish with, he said his wife got on him
Don't
one
say
time.
any names.
I'm not going to drop
Okay.
any names. I don't know if the story's true or not, but this was the way I was told. Anyway, his wife got on him when they first got married about fishing so much. And his words were, I like drinking and chasing women just as much as fishing, so
That's fine.
take your I don't know if it really went down like that or if he was just telling me that, because he's the man of the household. But
They still married?
they are still married.
So
long
he looked at his
time.
wife.
Like,
He's still fishing.
yeah, he's still fishing.
If
I
you
went
are-
with
if
him
you
a
are
couple.
watching live right now, please comment.
I went a couple of weeks ago with. They've been married a very long time.
He looked her in the eye and said, "Well,
That was the
I like
story
drinking
I was told.
and women, so that's fine. I'll give up fishing." Okay, so there you have it, Katie. There's a lot worse things he could be doing, and I'll let
Fishing
y'all
keeps a
decide.
lot of guys out of trouble.
Absolutely, fishing.
That
That
is-
is the great outdoors in general, man.
It's
I mean,
great therapy too. Like if I'm like upset or something, I'll use 2010. My father passed away. My therapy out on the lake by myself, just fishing, collecting my thoughts. That's what I use fishing for a lot of times. It just clears your mind. You're out there with nature, doing what you want to do. You don't have any other care in the world at the moment. To me, that's what fishing is.
Just enjoying creation.
Yeah.
And, I think some of my favorite times are being 20 foot up a tree in the fall and everything's peaceful, quiet, watching the sunrise, listening to the birds chirp. And anyway, yeah, that's a good answer, Brian. I mean, I think that's pretty good
That's
advice.
the way I heard it. I still
All right,
don't know for sure.
Next question. This one's from Jeff. This one's directed to Brian. So as a non-boater, I could always do decent at catching fish. I'm assuming Jeff was a co-angler. But now that I have my own boat, it's much harder to put a limit in the boat. What are some ways to overcome that?
Time on the water.
Yeah, I agree with Sam.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brian.
To me, I've said this a lot, is catching fish is easy. Everybody knows how to catch them. Finding them is the hard part. And that's where what Sandon said comes into play. Time on the water. I mean, you've just got to experience different scenarios and just, after being out there yourself and trying different things, it'll just start clicking and it'll just become second nature of what you need to try. Just kind of follow the seasonal patterns of bass and just learn what they can tell you. That to me is the biggest thing of it. It's just time on the water.
Okay, Jennifer just dropped a really good question live. And,
This is
Jennifer, thanks for tuning
This
in.
is great. Thank you, Jennifer.
Guys, everybody still have audio. We did get a comment that they lost their audio. We want to make sure everybody can still hear us.
Right above Jennifer.
Josh White said he does have audio. So
Yes.
Ryan, you may want to check your settings there.
Comment yes real quick if you got audio, guys.
Yeah, please.
Mic
do.
check.
Okay, so Jennifer, I tell you what. Let us finish the pre-show questions, and I promise, stay on. We're going to come back to your question here shortly.
That is a good question.
Okay, we got a question for Sandon. If you're not, okay,
I'll wait.
hold that thought. He's
Yes.
getting ready to dip his sweet potato fries into the blueberry ketchup.
I will wait.
So hold just a second. We don't want you to have to talk with your mouth full. This question's from Tony, and it's a good question for Sandon. My wife and I will be relocating to Greenville in the next few months. We're from the St. Clair, Lake Erie area. We've never been to the city and know little about it besides it's the host city for the Hartwell Classic. How is the fishing in other areas around Greenville? My wife will be working at Greenville Memorial. Is that where you work?
That's exactly
Hey,
where I work.
imagine that. So they'll be working at the same place. So any good areas
Y'all may
or
be
towns to
co-workers.
start a home search would be great. So he wants to know about the fishing around the Greenville area and then any towns that are nice to start looking for a home.
Well, within an hour shot of anywhere in Greenville, you've got Lake Kiowee, you've got Lake Jocassee, you've got Lake Hartwell, Lake Russell, Clarks Hill, Lake Greenwood, and Lake Murray. And if you want to get a little crazy, you can go down to Monticello.
Yep.
That's
Monticello's got some big fish in it.
Dude, Big
big
fish.
catfish
Big
too.
catfish.
Very good catfish.
I mean,
like.
but they catch double-digit fish. Out
Yes,
of them,
yes,
like 10 pounders.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And then also you're only like 2.5 hours away from places like Santee, Lanier. I mean, some
Yeah.
great fish. I mean, you got a short drive to a lot of really good places. It's
If
a good
I-
area.
But to answer that question, if I was going to start a family or relocate a family, I would start somewhere like Simpsonville, it's right below Greenville, or maybe towards Anderson, somewhere around in there. It's still you still got that country life, but you're still a 30-minute drive from the city life, and if you like that kind of thing.
Right.
But more or less, it's more a country style life down in the upstate of South Carolina.
Well, Greenville, I mean, there's a lot of good lakes around Greenville, too. I mean, you got well, Lanier's not too far, is it?
Lanier's about a 2
I already
hour
said
drive
that.
down
You don't
85.
listen to
Did
me.
you say Lanier? Sorry. You're right.
He
All right,
fussed
Brian
at me
don't
for
listen
not
me.
listening
I
to
don't
him,
listen
and now
Brian.
he's not listening to me.
And you know, when we fish together, it's kind of the same.
It
way.
really is.
I mean, if I say something, Brian does the opposite, but it usually works. If he says something, I'll do the opposite just to make him mad, but it usually works. So
It does.
Every once in a while, we somehow manage to catch a limit of bass, but
We do. We
all
do.
right, so that's it for the pre-show questions, y'all. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna stuff our face with sweet potato fries and blueberry ketchup.
I'm still
And-
calling it jelly.
It's jelly. Dude, it smells like ketchup.
It looks like jelly, though.
We'll be right back to take your questions live.
Okay, guys, we're back. We're getting ready to start the live question segment. So, comment, do some questions. I think Jennifer had something we need to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm scrolling back to it right now.
it yet?
Guys, thanks for all the yes replies to the audio. We want to
Yeah,
make sure
that's awesome.
It was good. We appreciate that a bunch. All right.
I think we need to touch on Jennifer's first before we
All right.
go any further.
Jennifer, back to your question, and then we'll scroll back down and take some more. Hey, I have a great question. I fish a lot and usually do better than my husband, who also fishes. He is always asking me for waypoints and to help him out. I say that I work hard for that info. Hold on, it says see more. I think I'm supposed to click more.
I think I
Should
can
I help
answer
him
this.
out?
I think I can answer this one. It doesn't matter what we say, Jennifer. I know you're not going to tell him. That's all I'm going to say.
That's a given. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like fishing with Brian in the tournament, you know. And he's up there throwing a buzzbait, and he catches one. I say, Brian, what'd you catch that one on? He'll say a frog. You know, I mean, it's that
come on.
It's that bad.
That is the fisherman generic answer. What'd you catch that fish on? Hook.
Yeah.
What'd you catch that fish on?
Jerk bait. I
Guaranteed
threw it out there,
it's
one bit it, and I jerked.
All right, so Jennifer, hope that answers your question. And yeah, like Brian said, we would, of course, you should help him out. He's your husband,
Yes.
but we know you're not going to. So
Don't give him the juice spots. Give him the old spots.
give him your B places. Yeah, keep the A places for yourself. All right, let's scroll down and find some more questions. Let's see.
Here's one. Is it better to get your limit first, then upgrade? Or do you fish for the big fish first and fill out your limit later in the day?
That's a loaded question. You can really approach it either way. I tend to let that go on the time of year because heat of the summer, something like that, I feel like, you know, you're going to have your best chance to catch a big one early. So that's when I'm going to try to fish for those big bites, especially if I know I've got a limit place that I can go to anytime. It depends on what your limit place is like. If you've got that little ace in the hole that you can pull up there and catch you a limit in 15 or 20 minutes, that gives you the freedom to fish for big ones for a long time and then catch a limit at 10:30, 11 o'clock and go back to fishing for big ones.
I'll tell you what I do. I just keep chucking in line and hoping one hooks up.
Yeah, that's a good plan also. That's
right.
a good plan also.
Yeah, and I'm with Brian. I think that's very situational. It depends on the tournament, depends on the lake. I mean, all of us, we'd be lying if we said we don't fish better with a limit in the box.
Yeah,
Everybody
because you do.
mentally
You
does.
hands down fish better with
That
limit.
confidence just goes straight out of the
Right, but Brian hit on something that was really important in that a lot of times your biggest bites, and you have to, like I said, this is situational, it's conditional, depending on
Right.
where you are. A lot of times you can capitalize on some of those biggest fish early. So if that applies, and sorry we can't be more direct, but it does vary throughout the year and depending on where you are. I would definitely risk if I've got plenty of places where I can get 15, 20, 25 bites. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about it.
Yeah.
So, definitely try to capitalize on that early bite to try to put a big fish in.
Or if you're anywhere on the Tennessee River and your limit place also happens to be your big fish place where you're on a school of 105 pounders, then it doesn't matter.
105 pounders. I've never
Can
found
you
a
call me?
Jason Lambert does
That's-
that. I hear.
Lambert does do that, yeah.
Lambert does that.
Lambert
I
does
hear he does that.
Chris been known to do it.
Can you call me when you get on one of them schools?
I've never been on one.
Oh, well.
He don't call. me
I
when
actually
he gets
watched
on
Lambert
schools.
on one of those. It was pretty amazing.
All right, so
He is the ledge wizard.
Just so y'all know, I did write Jennifer's name down. I wrote Aaron's name down on a piece of paper. I added it to our box for a giveaway. We've still got time for some live questions, so let's keep rolling. Let's see.
Dwayne says, so what Jen is saying is if when y'all come to St. Clair next year, call her, not him.
I see a good one.
Jen, yeah, okay, we can make that happen.
That's
Just make
funny.
sure I get her number, not Brian.
Hey, I see a pretty good one. It's basically just a generic question. It's from Wendell Leonard. What's the heaviest weight you've ever had in an FLW tournament?
Ooh. Ooh, I know what
8
mine
pounds,
is.
8 ounces as a
Yeah,
co-anchor in the
mine's
BFL.
Mine's 22, 23 pounds.
I caught mine last year, Santee Cooper, third day of the Costa Series event, 30 pounds and a couple ounces.
Yeah, I can't touch that.
That was
Yeah,
my best.
So mine was, I would have to look, but it'd be 22 or 23 pounds. I haven't even scared the 30-pound mark, so excuse me while I stuff my mouth.
That's all right. You're only live.
It's totally
Yeah,
worth it,
you're
though.
on.
It's
It's,
only going
it's
to be seen by about 10, 15,000 people.
All right, Wendell.
But blueberry ketchup.
taking blueberry ketchup worldwide,
Exactly.
James Watson style.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Wendell, we're adding you to the mix. Let's see. Jeremy Perry, active duty Army. Thank you for your service, Jeremy. He said, glad to see that pro anglers don't take a knee during this country's greatest song. I can promise you in this sport, that's very
You'll
unlikely. to
never
ever
see
happen.
that.
So
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Mm-mm.
let's see. What do we got next? Okay, here's a good one. This is actually from Jeremy. How much does the thermocline affect fish in the hot Texas heat? But there's a thermocline pretty much all over the country at different times. So, Brian, you want to hit on that first, or you want me?
Thermocline.
Yeah. How does it affect fish basically when it gets super hot?
From my understanding, what a thermocline does is it's a stratification in the water. So
That's a big word too for you.
Yep. It's coming
got
back to
something
me.
to
It's,
do with
it's coming back to me.
With inertia, and I can't remember.
Yeah.
As long as we don't
But-
say totality, we're good.
What about eclipse?
Sandon
You're
was
fired.
watching. He was watching last week, but the water separates by temperature, and you really don't have any oxygen. Very low oxygen levels below the thermocline. That's when you hear a lot about the striper keels and stuff like that in the heat of the summer. Is they get trapped down there, and when the lake flips over in the fall, all the oxygen gets anyway gone from where they're at. For I don't know, Sandon, you know that word? I don't know, but.
Thermocline.
So when the lake turns over, the lake, I guess, destratifies and it kills a lot of the stripers die because of the lack of the oxygen. So when you have that thermocline, fish won't really go below it. And you see a lot of that in lakes that have very low flow.
Low current.
Yeah,
Like Moss
very.
Lake, for example.
Yeah, like Moss Lake, your impoundments that are water supply lakes that don't really generate current for electricity, stuff like that. It's where you see more of a thermocline setup, and pretty much fish won't go below it. So, which is good because it eliminates a lot of water. I mean, if the thermocline sets up at 20, 23 feet, there's no need to look at anything below that. So 2/3 of the lake's eliminated already.
Yeah, especially, and that's a great way to look at it, like Brian said, especially if you're on those big blueback lakes like Murray,
Right.
and Lanier, and Hartwell, and Clark's Hill, and I'm sure a lot of the Texas lakes. I think Texoma might set up a little bit like that, but it does. It practices for you. I mean, when that thermocline pops up, you can target those fish. They'll be higher in the water column. You typically see a lot more schooling activity that time of year, and your jerk baits, your swim baits, grubs, all kinds of little things to target those suspended fish. Some of them will come up and blast topwaters. I know the big spots down there on Lanier and things like that will come up that time of year. So the thermocline it's an interesting deal. Brian was very scientific in the way he answered that. I was pretty impressed.
Hey, I actually have a biology degree.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I know.
You let the cat out of the bag. A biology degree.
It's been a long time
I
ago.
thought no, that's not you.
I
thought you
flunked
had
out of engineering.
Oh, that's what he started in engineering.
I started in engineering, realized I sucked at math. So we went to bio. We went to bio.
So wait a minute. It took you starting in.
Jody's
mechanics.
watching. He knows what I'm talking about. We all know Brian sucks at math.
So maybe my scales are wrong.
Well, all you have to do is be able to count to 30 in a couple ounces.
Yeah, as long as Jody answered my question. My biggest bag was 30 pounds, 7 ounces.
So almost
As long as I can
half.
count to that, I'm good.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm not very good at math, so I went to biology.
Oh, wow. So, Philip Anthony, good question, Philip. Let me write your name down. Wendell asked a minute ago if I submitted his name in the box.
Yes,
for
it's in
giveaway.
there, Wendell.
Yes, it's in there, Wendell. We did put it in there. Philip Anthony said, how to catch bass on an overcast day with clear water and a front coming through. So,
That's a good question.
yeah, well, and I'll hit on it real quick. A front overcast day, front coming through. You got that pressure drop. The fish are eating. I promise you, they're eating. And there's a lot of ways you can almost pick your poison in clear water. But when it's overcast and cloudy, I like to cover water. I know Brian loves to cover water.
I do.
And I pick up a top water, depending on time of year. Let's say he didn't say what time of year, but summertime. Spring.
Yeah, let's go summertime.
let's
That's
just go
where we're at
summertime.
now.
So since it is summertime, going into early fall, I'll pick up a top water bait and I'll cover water as fast as I can. You'll have a lot of active fish. You have a lot of fish moving away from cover in order to feed. So they might not be as target specific, but they'll be eating. I promise you.
And something we've noticed, I know Matt's seen this too. The lake we fish out here, Moss Lake, in our hometown. When it gets cloudy, the fish go to the bottom. It's kind of weird. They suspend when it's sunny, but when it's cloudy, they go down, and we catch them more on jigs, shaky heads, things like that. So that's one little trick to keep in mind. If you've got that pre-front situation where the fish are feeding, but say there's a dock or a point or somewhere that you've been catching them cranking or topwater or something like that, and you're not getting any reactions, try something on the bottom, because a lot of times those fish will go to the bottom and for some crazy reason and just spread out roaming, but they'll be more susceptible to a bottom bait than something suspended in the water column or even topwater.
Yeah, they're moving and they're eating, so you really just need to cover water regardless of what you're doing. But Brian hit on kind of the deep bite, so if you've been catching them out of suspended over top brush on a swim bait or something like that, try shaky head. Try a small finesse type bait or a little finesse jig or something like that, and dragging it on the bottom. It is weird how those fish will go to the bottom
it's
sometimes
very
on an
weird.
overcast day.
And
I guess the sun a lot of times brings that bait up higher in the water column.
Yeah,
too.
I guess it does. And
So I hope that answered your question, Philip. And he did come back and say summer, so that's pretty much what we concentrate on. We got time for one more, Jeff?
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, let's take one more question live. Let's see. All right, let's take Lori's question because we've got a Lake Eufaula champion here.
Whoa.
I'm assuming, Lori, you're talking about Lake Eufaula, Alabama. So any advice for fishing Lake Eufaula in October? And I'm going to direct this towards Brian.
He's looking at me.
Brian has smashed them.
I do like Eufaula. It's one of my favorite lakes. I've never been there in the fall, though. I like, a post-spawn type bite. But I would imagine in the fall it would be hard for me to lay a topwater bait down. I would try my best to get on a topwater bite, be it on the main lake. I'd probably start on the main lake, and then if that wasn't going on, kind of migrate to the creeks, back of pockets and stuff like that to see if those fish started chasing shad. Because a lot of times in the fall, they'll push that bait back in those long creeks. There's a lot of big creeks with big flats on Eufaula. Run back there, see if they're schooling, chasing bait. Start out with top water, and then if that's not happening, that's when I'm probably going to fall back on a crankbait. I mean, fall to me is square bill time. I'm going to tie on a Demiki Brute, cover water, just get on those flats where that bait's flipping. Even if you don't see fish visually busting, if you get back in a pocket and you see shad flicking on the surface, just see life. That's what you want to look for in the fall in the back of those creeks. Get in there, throw a rattling bait, a rattle trap, something like that, square bill, and just cover water.
And I think I recently witnessed Wheeler putting the smackdown on some boys in Major League Fishing. If I'm not mistaken, that was on Eufaula, and that was, I believe, it was a late summer, early fall deal.
Yeah.
And he was catching schooling fish. He found a little deal in a grass pocket, and they were schooling first thing in the morning. He was catching them. He was catching them on walking bait.
Yeah.
I mean, just destroying them. And as the day progressed, they quit schooling. They moved further back in the pads and the grass, and he was having to go in there and really meticulously pick them apart, flipping a worm and things like that. So, but like Brian said, it'll be it's typically
bait fish. That's the number one key in the fall. Look for bait.
All the way late summer, all the way through the fall, and into the early winter. Bait fish is number one key. So we got a bunch of names in the box. We're gonna have a bunch. I don't know how many we got in here, but I'm gonna mix them up just so it's fair. And we're going to let Sandon, who's our special guest tonight, draw a name. And we got a gigantic box over here in
I'm
the
going to
corner.
dump it out on the table.
All right, let's do that.
And
just so y'all know what you're playing for here, we're going to, if we don't get blueberry ketchup on it.
Yep, we're going to try to avoid blueberry ketchup. Let's see.
We're going to dump out what we're giving away on the table here, if Brian can aim.
This is a big, I don't know if it's going to fit.
Dump it out, man. Let's see what we got.
Dump it out. Watch out. That's a lot of stuff.
So there's all kinds of good lunker hunt baits in here. We got limit worms. We got some Demiki baits. Got a weighing bag. We got P-lines.
There's the top water he was just talking
We got
about.
T-shirt.
It's not supposed to be in there.
We've got. Brian's trying to take back some of his Demiki baits. We're not going to let him. We promise they're coming. We've even got a Quaker State hat signed by Brian and myself to send to one of you guys.
And this pack right here just caught the fish in the tank too.
Yeah, that's right. We got
That
some
big.
keychain, rattle trap keychain. Got some wave away from TH Marine to clean your glasses, clean your electronics and things with. So, all right, Sandon, we're gonna let you draw a name and announce the winner.
Do it.
Oh yeah, we got some P-line, the brand new P-line tactical fluorocarbon.
And remember, you got to be on. So whoever this name is,
Yeah, guys.
Yeah,
if
you've got to
don't
be on.
Comment. We know she's
Well,
on.
that's perfect.
This was a live question we answered. Jennifer, if you're still on, drop
Jennifer
us a comment.
has won some baits.
just
Yeah.
comment I'm on.
And
Just
you-
comment I'm on.
You
That's all
don't even
gotta
have to
do.
share them with
If
your
you don't
husband.
comment, I'm
Don't
on.
have to share them.
In the next minute or two, we're going to the next. We're going to. The
But you
next
may have to share them with Dwayne. Give him one. One
yeah,
bait.
That's right. That's right.
Give him the hat.
Now Jennifer was the one that won't give her husband any waypoints.
Exactly.
Right? All right.
But
Jennifer,
she can give him a
Jennifer,
hat,
you
though.
still on? I hope you're on for your sake.
How is she? We got.
What?
How are
She
we
just
getting on
commented
tour?
What?
Oh, she said what? All right. That's all we needed, Jennifer. You just won all this stuff right here in the center of the table. So you'll shoot us a message with your information. We'll get in touch with you, and we'll get all this shipped out to you this week. Guys, thanks for watching.
Great show, guys.
Yeah, we're probably going to be chowing down on some sweet potato fries and some blueberry ketchup.
Yeah.
What's in store for next week? We got anything good, Jeff?
Well, we actually, you're getting ready to see. We're getting ready to release a video. We're Southern Redfish Cup and Let's Talk Fish.
Oh yeah.
That's right.
Brian, Matt, myself, and Sandon's probably going to jump in on too. We're teaming up together. We're going to try to get out to the community and do something for the people of Texas who are just going through.
Yeah, that's
time.
that's a
Our
bad
thoughts and
deal.
prayers
That's a
out to all
bad
the people
deal.
of Texas, that's a nightmare in reality.
We have
down
a
there.
page set up. We're going to be releasing it here pretty soon, and all y'all will be notified of how to help and take part.
That's right. You just set that up today, didn't you?
You just set up today, and I think it's up and working now. So we're gonna be releasing that. So we're gonna help all we can. I've got a bunch of friends. Y'all probably got friends down there too that took their
Absolutely.
boats, packed their trucks full of whatever
Oh,
they
yeah.
can fit.
We will drop that link on that video, correct, where people can
Yeah,
go to that link directly to donate.
Yeah, there's it's actually coming up on the screen now. It's ucaring.com/fishing community is the link where you can go donate.
Excellent.
We're going to be releasing links on everybody's page. here shortly. So we definitely want to help as much as we can, and we're going to do everything we can to reach our goal. And we're going to pack trucks. We've got some arrangement with some freight forwarders, so we're going to actually drive the stuff down there.
Oh, sweet! I didn't know that.
And
That's
we're going
awesome.
to take it to the people. We're not just donating to a cause and never know
Yeah.
what's happening with the money.
Actually have it delivered. So.
I want to put things in people's hands that need it. That's the goal, and that's what we're going to do. So with that, I think that wraps up episode number 2 of Let's Talk Fish.
Episode 2, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Next week, we'll drop that video tomorrow on how you can help the victims.
And big shout out to
Texas.
Sandon for coming and being part of the show. You know, our first special guest. Thanks for
sir.
coming, bud.
Absolutely, buddy. Sam,
Had an
appreciate it,
absolute
buddy.
blast.
And we're going to do something with this fish back here. We promise you guys.
Yeah.
You know, we actually dropped.
I think we need to mic him up next week.
You think we can mic the fish up?
Yeah.
We actually dropped 8 feeder fish in his tank about 10 minutes before the show started.
Now he's trying to eat himself. Look at
He was so hungry. I mean, Brian was dangling a little soft plastic in the top of the aquarium, and Joker was coming out of the aquarium trying to eat it. But unfortunately, he had all except for one of those fish eaten before you guys tuned in and we went live. But
Yeah, I think maybe we should do it.
yeah, we'll definitely feed him live on the show.
Yeah,
Guarantee
next
it.
week.
Guys, thank you so much for watching, and look forward to seeing each and every one of you next week. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the questions. Till next time, when you can't fish, we'll talk fish.
And remember, submit your questions, letstalkfish.com.
Yep.
And also, there is a link for the donation on that page now, too. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.